The separate self is not an entity. It isn't a physical entity. When you look at the self model, what we are pointing to here is almost like a computer program, an interface. And many people will never see the contrast of this interface and the appearances in what is happening, so to speak. And I know when I'm speaking like this, it almost sounds like a duality, like there is a separate self and there is what is happening. But even the separate self is what is happening. But the separate self, the individual, is the illusion. It is the dream. And it's been experienced. The contrast has been highlighted more than ever before. And I wanted to share that with you today. A lot of videos on non-duality speak of no self, the individual being an illusion, and it is because it is. It's a very tightly constructed illusion. And this video is not here to stake a claim of right or wrong or good or bad. It is to just point out the interface and how strong it is and how long the interface has been running the show. And that there is nobody who can see the interface and stop it. And there is nobody who can do that or who should even want to do that. This is not applied non-duality. This is not non-duality that you apply to the individual or your life to escape or feel better. This is in the most truest essence that the felt sense of this being someone's life, this being your journey, and what appears affects you and you are in control of it, you are the doer, is the most tightly constructed and believable illusion there is. It starts at a very young age, and it's more than just a model. It's more than just an interface. It seriously is an energy. And with an energy, there is power. The separate self is an energy. But it's an energy that can feel like it is a moving energy. The contrast was highlighted extremely profoundly recently, as we can talk about the separate self being made up of conditioning. We can talk about it being made up of thoughts. We can talk about it being made up as the body being the center of it. If you guys haven't seen, that's my little dog back there, our little family dog. She's gonna join the video with us. Her name is Tally. Look how cute she is. But the separate self can be made up of all this, not a physical entity, but different working parts that create an interface. In the separate selves, the nature of the program is to keep this organism alive. It's to keep the body alive. Once again, not staking a claim in right or wrong, in good and bad, but there's an energy that comes along with this interface. What I would like to assume happens, and especially for me, is that energy reached such a heightened state that it was almost stuck. It was in a stuck energy in a sense. It was an energy that was appearing just like everything else, but the believed interface grabs onto that energy, tries to hold it, shape it, and do what it believes it should do with that energy. And what I mean by this in the simplest terms is, I started this YouTube channel, and many of you know, being in an extreme state of anxiety, being in an extreme state of fear. You could say the nervous system was in survival mode to the highest level. What I was unaware of was what was actually taking place. And it was the separate self became such a strong contraction. The interface became the driver of the appearances in the happening, the doership, that the contraction and the side effect of that was a fear and anxiety that didn't feel comfortable to the individual. So therefore, the individual must imagine and did imagine that this isn't normal and it should not feel this way. So let's get rid of it and let's make it feel better, only strengthening the cycle of it. That energy is extremely profound. That energy is extremely powerful, but it's actually a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful energy when it is seen as just that, energy, not an energy of anyone's. I was watching Tony Parsons recently, and he expressed it beautiful, and I may not quote it word for word and exactly correct, but he said something along the lines of, the energy is an appearance, just like everything else. What is appearing? Freedom has no conditions at all. It can appear as tension, it can appear as anxiety, and it can appear as bliss, it can appear as meditation. In other words, freedom isn't limited. Unconditional love isn't limited or based on conditions. So therefore, the energy of the separate self that many of you hear this message and think you must remove is not what is being shared here, because that would apply in a sense that there was something else that was more free or something else that was more whole. See, no, unconditional freedom and unconditional love is that energy in that uncomfortable feeling, but it is only the one who wants to own it, remove it, and change it when it doesn't seem like it should be there. And that's the experience of the individual. And the individual is this energy, this contraction. And once again, I was getting back to Tony Parsons. And what I wanted to say is that energy is going to appear. In other words, that believed separate self that feels like an energy in the body is going to appear. But it's going to appear whether there's an owner or there's not an owner. You can see this very, very in depth if you have ever been in some type of a flow state or even zoned out or extremely focused. Or maybe if you've ever been driving and then you might have started daydreaming and then you snap back into it and you're like, how did I even get here? You were almost driving on autopilot. So what this is pointing to, or a flow state where you are extremely focused and apparent time has passed and you're like, wow, time sure went fast. Anyways, you basically lose yourself, but you see that what is appearing, driving, is still appearing. Maybe whatever is playing video games, it's still happening. These are still happenings, but there wasn't a me doing it. There wasn't a me in the driver's seat. The me isn't the body. That is an appearance. The me is the energy, the contraction, the self-model, the interface that seems to be in the body with the world outside of there, and they are moving. You are moving inside and outside of the world, the subject and the object relationship. And the thing I wanted to point to with Tony Parsons is that energy is going to appear whether there's an owner of it or not. That's why it is a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful energy because it is another appearance, another happening. But what I was going to say is the self is an overlay. It is an added on structure to the appearance. Think of it like a DLC to a video game, or that really doesn't make sense, but it kind of does in a way, or an add-on to a video game. It is only what is happening is what is happening. Now, you can say that in many different ways. What is happening is what is happening. Just this is all there is. It's just now. There's no past. There's no future. It's just now. It's eternity. It's timeless. The self is added on with that energy as an overlay, as an interface to what is appearing. This is the operating system of the perceived reality in the dream world. And there seems to be everyone operating in their own reality. And that is why there is, whatever the population is in the world, billions of something, billions of perceived realities, billions of other realities. But there is only what is happening. There is only one now. There is only this. So I just wanted to bring this to you because there is no one who's going to realize there is no self. There is no one who is going to realize that there is no individual. But the structures and the construct of the individual self, of the interface, do make themselves appear. But no one has to do anything for that. It just appears. In a sense, you can say that they are noticed, but then it would be like, who are they noticed by? Anyways, the contrast is highlighted when they make themselves appear, when the appearance of this energy, when the appearance of ownership, when the appearance of self is seen, it is seen that it is an illusion in its most ultimate sense. It is a complete dream, it is a complete illusion, and it is not there. That doesn't mean things don't happen. There just doesn't need to be the operator in the pilot's chair, the believed pilot's chair, for the happening to happen, as seen with a flow state, as seen with zoning out, driving, a task being performed when the self isn't there. That is simply a flow state. There's no one interfering. There's no critique, judgment, narrating, nothing appearing. And even if there is, the owner of it is not there. So, wow. I had a little coffee and I feel like I just talked quite a bit. Anyways, I love you all, and I just want to send a loving message to every one of my members on YouTube. I don't do that too often, but for $5 a month, you can be a member on this channel, and it doesn't offer you much, but you do get all of my videos around 24 hours before I release them publicly. And there are quite a few members, about 20 of them. And I just want to say thank you for being a member. Thank you for the financial donation. I appreciate it very much and greatly. It isn't necessary or required, but I just want to say thank you for that. I cherish that very, very much. So thank you to every YouTube member. Thank you to every member who is in the Core Collective community. Some great questions happen in the community, some great investigations, and the community is still building, growing, and going to continue to expand. If you're interested in joining, there's something for everyone in there. No matter where you stand, you're more than welcome to join. It is free, totally, to get inside of the community. And you can find that link down below in the description and also in the comments. So I love you all. Take care. Much love.